Hello and welcome to your astrological vibrations for Friday, March 16th, 2018 by Gaia Blooming. I am Mimi and our energy mantra for today is my responsibility is to my flow. And today we've got a few things building. We are in the last day of Mars in Sagittarius, which means Mars is at that 29 degree taking aim, really aiming with our hearts, aiming with our passion, aiming with even the knowledge that we are collecting right now, aiming with the actions, each step, let each action be taking you closer to your passion. Let each step, let each action be taking you closer to your goal. I went through a period at one point in my life where I was really vigilant, like everything, down to what I ate, drank, said, played with, anything. This is either taking me closer to my goal and closer to what I desire or not. And I was really vigilant about that. My life was flowing really good at that point. Let yourself be in that state today as Mars finishes up in Sagittarius before Mars moves into Capricorn and we take on a new level of responsibility with our actions. We are also in the day before the new moon. And the day before the new moon is always interesting. Dark of the moon energy. Now, I mentioned between Chiron finishing up in Pisces and this new moon at the final degree of Pisces, there is some really strong karmic completion energy. And I have these two cards. I have sorrow in reverse and I have exhaustion in reverse. And they're both nines. And 9 is that action energy. It is related to Mars, but it is also one of those degrees of completion. And so my feeling is some of these things that have been burdens upon you, that have brought you to that place of sorrow, that have made you emit, that have brought you to the place of exhaustion, that has been like, oh my God, can this just work out? My feeling is that this is completing at this time, but you may have to do a little bit of work. You know, these are in reverse, so it's like not quite there yet. We are completing these energies. Just be very aware of that in and through this energy. So I wanted to kind of dive into the new moon a little bit, and then we can get into the other astro. But building into it, it feels really interesting, and I really like this message that's coming through. The Sabian symbol, this is where we're going. So the moon is at 26 degrees in Pisces. Watching the very thin moon crescent appearing at sunset, different people realize that the time has come to go ahead with their different projects. And it's appreciation of the value of individualized responses to any challenge of life, but any situation of life. Basic cosmic spiritual impulse leads these varied personalities to take equal varied steps. In a society that glorifies individualism, everyone should therefore accept this fact and not try to compel other individuals to conform to a certain or single pattern of response. And it leads to the realization of the fallacy of totalitarianism, demanding that other people react to a situation the way we do. Now, it's really interesting, the message that came up with this, and it really is, you are responsible for your flow, and that person over there is responsible for their flow. I do, in general, take a live and let live kind of attitude. Now, I don't think that this means that we turned a blind eye to injustice and the violence that is in the world, and yet we all have to take our individual approach to how we go about things. I talked about this with the resist movement. I'm going there again. You know, it's not about the resistance. When we are resisting, we are pushing energy into the thing that we're resisting. I really believe it is more about the persisting in aligning with your path, persisting in aligning with your mission, persisting in aligning with, okay, this is how I am going to approach this spiritually from my own personal cosmic sense. And we all have to take that responsibility back and be in that flow, be in that story, rather than, well, I'm going to do this because other people are doing this and I feel the pressure to do this. You know, peer pressure comes on all levels. Even with the best of intentions, you can be peer pressured into behaving in a way or responding to something in a way that is not true to your soul. Now, this is also not to say that we're not growing and expanding and evolving and learning new ways of responding to things. There is still that. But ultimately, you have to do this on your own time and in your own terms, and not do it from that pure pressured place, but from that soul alignment place. That's what it keeps coming back to. And I feel like with this new moon energy and with Mars in its last day in Sagittarius, this is what we're being specifically called to, aligning with your own spiritual energy. Yeah, I'm going to stop there with that, and we'll get more into that tomorrow. But the last thing I'm going to say is that moon at 26 degrees, that's 8 energy. That is that responsibility that comes up for this new moon energy. Your responsibility is your flow and how you're showing up in and for your flow. How are you showing up in and for your life? And the last thing, I'm going to go one more place with this. People are going to get up on your case. Chances are they're not being completely vigilant about their own life. And you may find yourself getting up on other people's lives. And again, I would say, like, oh wait, am I sitting back and taking responsibility for where I am at in my flow? Or am I avoiding something? Really take a look at that, because we are responsible for our own evolutions. And again, this doesn't mean we don't teach. This doesn't mean we roll over and accept injustice, but we will all go about it in our own given way, and that is okay. And we have to allow people their process of understanding. We have to stop trying to force everything down people's throats, because obviously that's not working and just succeeding in the divide and conquer stance. So, that being said, let's dig into the other astro energies as we build into this new moon energy. We have, like I said, the moon in Pisces, and that moon in Pisces is making several connections. We have the moon in Pisces connecting to Neptune in Pisces. Definitely some super psychic energy. You may be getting some interesting messages and downloads coming through with this moon, dark of the moon energy, Neptune. I would say this is a good opportunity to clear yourself. Clear your crystals. That's just a message that I'm getting. There's no really strong reason why, but I would say maybe it's the dark of the moon stuff, and maybe it's some of the shadows that, based on what you're bringing up right now, may connect into some other energies. So this is a really good time to do some clearing, especially if the messages that you're getting are sounding a little bit off. Clear. Whether it's sound clearing, sage clearing, calling in light to clear yourself, taking a bath, taking a shower, all of the above, clear. Clear. This Neptune moon energy is also connecting to the North Node. The North Node is in Leo, and the North Node in Leo is reminding us, connect into the heart energy, not the fear. And maybe that's where I'm getting that message. Maybe that's where that thing is happening. There may be some of those old fears coming up in the shadows, and that might be what you need to clear in order to make way to be greater into that heart flow, spiritual heart flow, which is available to you right now. The moon is also going to connect with Pluto in Capricorn. So again, here we have this opportunity to tune into some shadow stuff and shift this. This works really well with the karmic shifts going on right now. And like I said, these closures, these releases of these old karmic energies that are coming up. This is at 20 degrees. Nurture yourself through this. What do you need? Again, I suggest the clearings, the clearing path. Clear yourself as part of your nurturing process in this time. Always a good plan, but definitely during this. The final thing, and again, this connects in with what I'm saying, the moon is going to connect to Jupiter. Jupiter is retrograde in Scorpio. Again, connecting us to the lightest light, but the potential of the shadows. This connection, for any of those who like numbers, is happening at 11:11 p.m. So Pacific time. So just so you know, 11:11. But this could, again, bring up some shadows to be processed, released, cleared as we move in and through this energy. So just be really aware. But again, your intuition, your psychitude is going to be up in and through this energy. So let us dive into the cards. I showed you the exhaustion, the completion energies, but beyond that is beautiful. Look at this. We're in the flow. We're realizing the friendliness of the universe, and we're making some breakthroughs. I'm also really feeling this as some yin energy, some really balanced yin and yang energy going on in and through you right now. And that might be because that yang is passionately connecting to taking that aim and taking that guided action with that aim, you know, really being very vigilant about every step that's being taken, but also in the flow. And look, I mean, this is the yin and the yang right here, sandwiched here. Here's the yin in the flow, and here's the yang taking the action. So we have this really beautiful energy unfolding for us, even as we process this old stuff. I love the Miracles Now cards. 2 of them. When I feel blocked, emotionally distressed, or overwhelmed, I turn to my breath. Be in your flow as you release these energies. This speaks of the release of the old energies, but part of the release of the energies. And this, I think, is something we are all working on some level or another. I release my need to be perfect, and I center into my commitment to serve the world more love, connecting into that heart chakra energy more and more, even as we clear out these other energies. And one of those big ones is the shame that some of us carry around not being perfect. What is perfect anyway? Nobody does it. Nobody wants you to do it. Not really, even though they may say it. Nobody wants that. Be human. Be yourself. Be in your own individual flow path, no matter what anybody says. Be open to others also being on their path, and be open to the fact that you may not always like what they have to say on their path. But we're not going to shift by cramming our way down somebody else's throat, because there is violence in that. Even if you are bringing very high-level knowledge, no to that violence. So, let us finish up. The final card is Cosmic Heart. There's 8 energy, responsibility. I was dead, I became alive. I was tears, I became laughter. The power of love arrived and made me everlasting power. I have seen everything, I have no fear. I have the heart of the lion, and I shine like Venus. All right. There's a time on the journey of love when the beloved, that would be you and me, sweet soul, is prepared to engage more completely with the heart of the divine lover. This preparation will be a rich process, spiritually speaking. It may also feel like being beaten, pummeled, simmered, and stirred in the pot of the divine master chef to become a sacred and savory meal, fit for the most heavenly of feasts. This is a courageous and bold process, one that will create the most delicious aromas of the soul, and yet it is one that will likely take us right to the places we would rather avoid, places of confrontation with pain, but where the loss of its grip on our being no longer lets us quake and retreat from life in fear or uncertainty. You have been through these tantalizing trials, the push to surrender, fear, the realization your attempts at control amount to not so much actually, so why not abandon them altogether? The trials have asked you to confront every part of your being that holds itself back in resistance to what is. Wow, that's powerful. In resistance to what life presents at this very moment, you have been asked to become comfortable with the possible discomfort of not knowing, and to understand you have to understand anything for life or you don't have to understand anything for life to work out with perfect synchronicity and generous grace. You have been asked to bear darkness without losing hope for the return of light. You have been asked to trust in your own heart wisdom when your mind was terrorized by nightmares and hallucinations of fear. They were so powerful, you were certain they must be real, that you must be crazy not to run and hide somehow and somewhere. And yet here you still are, still loving, still wise, and ready for a love bigger than you have ever experienced before. So we step forward together, you and I. I link my arm through yours, and I urge you on. Let us run together and jump over the edge. No more half-living in any way for you and me. We will weep crystal clear tears, and we will laugh with such joy that stars will burst forth and born upon our exhalations. We will hear the beating of the cosmic heart pounding in our ears, and how we shall dance to it. That sacred, intoxicating rhythm moves hips and hands and hearts, raising the soul from slumber. Blah, blah, blah. This oracle comes with special guidance for you. More love is rushing to you, like a great cosmic tsunami. You will struggle with this blessing to the extent that you will attempt to hold on to what has been. So don't. Let go. Let it move you. You'll perhaps get some water up your nose, but nothing will come to you that you cannot handle. You'll be disheveled, somewhat, undoubtedly, yet as you are washed up upon love's shining store, keeping every hair in place will be the last thing on your mind. You'll be too caught up in the wonder of perfection, realizing how deeply loved you are and how unnecessary it is to contrive a way to live your purpose. Instead, you'll have no idea what's going on. You'll be surrendered in passionate embrace with life, simply being your exquisite, crazy, unique self, saturated with divine love. It will drip from you, out of your feet, your eyes, your voice, your touch. You'll water the earth with love's oceanic presence. Oh, how that tsunami will deliver you into your divine destiny. No need for contrivance. Let your hair get messed up. Your destiny awaits you now. The sacred honoring ritual. Place your hands upon your stomach and one over your heart. Focus on your breath, flowing gently in and out. When you are ready, say the following aloud. Rumi, who loves me unconditionally, with all the wild love and unconditional affection of the universal heart, help me now. I trust in my own heart wisdom and in the truth of your love for me. Please help me trust in the flow of life. Let go of my fixed plans and ideas and open up to the genius of love itself. May I realize that my destiny will unfold with absolute perfection, and may I trust in the signs I am given. May I be able to release any false guidance based in fear, and may I open up instead to genuine guidance and inner knowing based in love. Under the grace of your protection, may this be so. Feel the warmth of your hands on your body and just breathe. And when you're ready, simply place your hands in prayer position and bow your head gently to your hands. This is your simple and powerful action that reminds you of this truth. Your head is supposed to bow to honor the heart, not to try to dominate or control it. You have completed your sacred honoring ritual. Cosmic Heart. So, that is it. Here we go into this new moon, into this beautiful completion cycle. You are always welcome to book a reading at GaiaBlooming.com. Or with me, GaiaBlooming.com. With that, I will say there is enough love in the world for you, and the better it gets, the better it gets. Namaste.